Hallo und willkommen zum 26. Video von 3 Minuten Deutsch. Heute werde ich über trennbare Präfixen sprechen. Sometimes you can't just simply conjugate a verb, put it in the place where you think the verb should go, and then just move on with your sentence. Sometimes you have to take a part of that verb off and then shove that to the end of the sentence. These things are called separable prefixes. There are a lot of different prefixes in the German language that can or cannot be separated. Each one of these prefixes changes the verb in a certain special way. For example, the verb bauen means to build or construct. If you add the prefix an, you end up with anbauen, which means to cultivate, grow, or plant. If you add the prefix aus to it, it means to expand. There's a link in the description to about.com's list of separable prefixes and how they affect the meaning of a verb. Me personally, I'm going to be focusing on how to actually use them in sentences today, and I'm going to show you a few examples of the most popular verbs that are used like this. Was hast du heute an? Notice the an at the end of the sentence there. That's our separable prefix. The verb here is anhaben. Ich werde morgen eine Krawatte anhaben. Here we have werden used in the sentence, which means that we have to use the infinitive form of the verb, which is why anhaben is one word at the end of the sentence. Lädst du mich zur Party ein? Here you may have noticed that laden has an irregular form in the A umlaut for the du and RZS forms. Nimmt lieber ein paar Kilo langsam ab. Wir geben heute auf. Herr Antrim bringt uns Deutsch bei. Hans hält durch. Again, notice the umlaut here. That tells us that the RZS form has a stem change. The verb here is halten, which also is weird because it doesn't take an ET at the end of the verb. It just simply takes a T, which is actually the stem of the verb. Ich atme ein. Ich atme aus. Macht ihr heute nicht mit? Ich schlage vor, dass wir jetzt essen. Notice that we have here vor at the end of the first clause. The separable prefix has to go at the end of the clause as opposed to at the end of the entire sentence. Das is a conjunction, which is why we have a secondary clause there, which doesn't have vor at the very end of it. Ich mache die Tür zu. Shameless plug of this other video here. Once you start to recognize these separable prefixes, you can start to use them in sentences more easily. All you really need is the rules that I gave you from this video. Most of the time, the prefix goes to the end of the sentence or at the end of the clause. If you are using a modal auxiliary or a future tense using werden, you have to put that verb back together into the infinitive form, with the prefix added to the verb. Also, if you're using one of the constructions that we talked about last week, whenever you're saying etwas zu machen, you need to put the zu in between the prefix and the rest of the verb. Abzunehmen, for instance, in order to lose weight. So, your assignment for this time around is to find your own list of verbs that you think would be necessary for you to learn with separable prefixes. Leave them in the comments down below with some example sentences that you wrote yourself. If you want more information about this topic, go ahead and click the link over here for my blog or the one that's down in the description. Aber das ist alles für heute. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.
Also, if you want one of these mugs, you can buy them via this link, or just click on the mug. Yeah.